The American Cancer Society releasing its 2024 breast cancer statistics this morning, and we have it first on GMA. Dr. Karen Knudsen, the CEO of the American Cancer Society and ACS CAN, is joining us exclusively to talk about these findings. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And the report, looking at it, it's a mixed bag. So let's start with the good news first. Mortality rates are down.
They sure are. So this is part of our commitment to patients and families across the country to report on progress against cancer. So when we look at progress against breast cancer, we are delighted to report a 44% reduction in overall breast cancer mortality since 1989, which was the high watermark for breast cancer death in this country.
So that is the good news. There is some troubling statistics as well, that it's targeting a certain group. Can you explain more about that?
Well, that's right. So when we look at incidence overall, so people being diagnosed with breast cancer, we see overall for all women about a 1% year-over-year rise in diagnosis. But when we unpack that and look at who is being disproportionately affected, it's women of a younger age, so younger than 50. That increase in incidence is a little higher than the average, about 1.4% year over year. But a really unsuspected or unexpected trend in women of Asian descent, so Asian American and Pacific Islanders, seeing a 2.5% rise in breast cancer incidence. So we're watching that to try to understand what is driving these differences in different populations.
Yeah, that is a very alarming. We here on GMA, there are more and more reports of younger generation. Are there any reasons behind this? Any early findings why that's the case?
So there's some things that we know now. So for example, we know that there is an increasing incidence of obesity in the United States, and breast cancer risk includes obesity as a risk factor. We also know that alcohol use is associated with breast cancer risk and incidence, but there must be something more because it's not affecting populations equally. We see this rise in Gen X and millennials with breast cancer at a younger age compared to baby boomers. So something more must be at play, and so cancer research investment will be really important for us to understand what that is.
And you'll continue that research. When I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer in 2007, I was told as a black woman that I was less likely to be diagnosed, but more likely to die if I was diagnosed. Is that still true for black women? Are they disproportionately affected?
Unfortunately, that's true. So actually, if we go back to the 1970s, before we knew as much about breast cancer as we know now, mortality rates for black and white women were approximately equal. Now fast forward to today, where black women have a reduced incidence, so a lower incidence of breast cancer, but a 38% increased mortality rate compared to white counterparts. So there's much to unpack. Part of that is triple-negative breast cancer, which is more common in black women, but there must be more. Everything from access to early detection, which we know saves lives, all the way through access to the latest cancer research breakthroughs.
I've been told to wrap, but I have to ask you about men because they don't get enough coverage about this, and the numbers there are troubling as well.
Please do. There is no screening plan for men, and male breast cancer is rare but very serious. About 3,000 men this year in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and more than 500 will die of that disease. So if you feel something, do something.
Important that we share that as well.
Please.
Dr. Knudsen, thank you very much.